Bruh.
The axolotl is a type of paedomorphic salamander, meaning this silly amphibian reaches maturity without even going through metamorphosis, so they remain gilled and fully aquatic their whole lives. You're probably familiar with these cuties only in a captive setting, as they've become popular pets in recent years. In the wild, they're only native to Lake Chalco, which no longer exists, and Lake Xochimilco in the Valley of Mexico. As you can imagine, such a constrained ecosystem coupled with water pollution and rapid urbanization has left the undomesticated axolotl critically endangered. Axolotls are often used in experimental settings due to their ability to regenerate limbs, gills, and even some parts of their eyes and brains. The fire salamander, which binomial name is Salamandra salamandra, cute, is named as such due to its yellow, orange, red color variation. As with most neon animals, this bright coloration indicates toxicity and is meant to deter predators from preying on them. Fun fact, this trait is called aposematism, or honest signaling. The fire salamander can live shockingly long, with one at the Museum Caecilians in Germany living over 50 years. The Central American red-eyed tree frog is extremely recognizable with its vivid green color, sticky little finger pads, and red eyes, if you could have guessed it. These are arboreal frogs, meaning they spend their post-tadpole life primarily in the trees. Red-eyed tree frog embryos have been shown to exhibit phenotypic plasticity, meaning they may hatch early in response to danger. If a predator is close enough to create vibrations that are detectable from inside the eggs, the entire clutch very well may bust out, not even fully cooked, to escape. The golden poison frog is the largest species in the poison dart frog family, coming in at a whopping teeny tiny 2 inches. This little froggy is the most poisonous animal on the face of the planet. From the glands in their skin, they produce deadly alkaloid batrachotoxins, which are potent enough for one frog to kill 10 men or 20,000 mice. The fire-bellied snake is the only creature known to prey on these frogs, having developed a varying immunity to its poison. I would also like to point out that the person who discovered the fire-belly snake was freaking Edward Cope, like Bone Wars Edward Cope. This South African frog is painfully cute. Unlike most other species of frogs, they hatch out of their eggs as frogs, skipping the tadpole stage entirely. They live primarily in very dry sand dunes, also uncharacteristic of frogs, but seem to absorb moisture through their skin from fog and burrow underground to wait out dry spells. Bullfrogs are one of my favorites. If you've never seen one, they're bigger than you think. Here in the South, people eat the legs of these sweetums. They say it tastes like chicken, but actually it tastes like murder. Yeah, soapbox time, don't you feel bad now? They have very distinct vocalizations. During mating season, males will just kind of sit in one spot all night and scream at the top of their lungs until a female decides to mate with them. As far as feeding, bullfrogs have been found to eat all sorts of crazy stuff: rodents, snakes, small birds, and bats. Cannibalism has also been observed in bullfrog environments that are resource limited. Maxing out at 5 feet long and 60 pounds, the Japanese giant salamander is the 3rd largest amphibian in the whole world. These salamanders are fully aquatic, but do not keep their gills like axolotls. Instead, they breach for air every so often. It has teeny tiny eyes and no eyelids, providing very poor eyesight, but that's okay because they're covered head to toe in sensory cells that can detect the most minute of vibrations, aiding in hunting and navigation. They prey on insects, crustaceans, and fish, but have extremely slow metabolisms and can go weeks without eating. The Goliath frog is the largest extant frog, with most weighing more than the average chihuahua at 7 pounds and has a jump height of up to 9 feet. These big boys reside in Central Africa, from Cameroon to Equatorial Guinea. In addition to deforestation, climate change, and parasites, the Goliath frog is primarily threatened by overhunting. The International Union for Conservation of Nature has underscored the necessity of conservation measures, and local communities have made efforts to enact sustainable measures of hunting. This is a normal male smooth newt. This is a male smooth newt during breeding season. Newts in their juvenile terrestrial phase are called efts. While on land, their skin is dry, water repellent, and velvety. But when they migrate to water, it becomes smooth with active mucus and toxin glands. The glass frog is well known for its transparent belly, allowing you to see all its internal viscera. They reside in Central and South America and live a mostly arboreal lifestyle. These frogs lay their eggs on the leaves of trees or shrubs overhanging rivers or streams, and when they hatch, the tadpoles fall directly into the body of water below. Midwife toads, which are actually not toads but toad-like frogs, are called such because the males carried the fertilized eggs on their back all the way up until they hatch. This source says they have horny teeth. I didn't know that was possible.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Though only in Tier 4, this is pretty obscure, scientifically obscure even. Caecilians are the least studied amphibian, as they are decently elusive, and not much is known about them behaviorally. What we do know is that this one kind of has milk.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
They secrete a white substance from their cloaca that's rich in fats and carbohydrates, which provides the necessary nutrients and immune system support that their offspring needs to survive. The ulm is this little cave-dwelling penis salamander residing in the Dinaric Alps in Europe. This creature is wonderfully adapted to a life of complete darkness, having underdeveloped eyes but acutely sensitive smell and hearing. Much like axolotls, they are fully aquatic, but unlike the Japanese giant salamander, they do retain their gills. The emperor newt is native to the subtropical pools and slow-moving streams of southern China. If disturbed, the poison glands concealed in the orange bumps along its back will secrete a toxin potent enough to kill 7,500 rats. But few animals would ever dare to find this out due to its aposematism. Wallace's flying frog utilizes its big webbed feet to glide up to 50 feet from tree to tree. They can also use this thin layer of skin to parachute down to the forest floor. Adolescents, they look like this. Why? Take a guess. Scientists postulate that they're mimicking shit, like old shit with little white spots, you know? These spots actually cut the attack rate in half versus frogs of a similar coloring without the white spots, so nice. The Pedophrine amuensis is the smallest vertebrate in the world at 7 millimeters or 0.30 of an inch. This little baby lives in the tropical wetlands and hilly forests of Papua New Guinea, spending most of their time in the leaf litter of the forest floor, and is capable of jumping 30 times their body length. The tiger salamander is one of the largest terrestrial salamanders in North America, growing up to 8 inches. Their diet consists mainly of small insects, but it's not rare for tiger salamanders to turn to cannibalism. These guys carry all sorts of diseases, such as the amphibian chytrid fungus, which is a major concern to frogs worldwide, and various ranaviruses, which infect and kill amphibians, fish, and reptiles. The Pinocchio frog wasn't discovered until 2008, and wasn't even scientifically described until 2019. Nobody is sure why they would call it the Pinocchio frog. It's one of those scientific mysteries. While there isn't a whole lot of information about these froggies, we do know that males will inflate their nose protrusions when making mating vocalizations, which may amplify the noise, drawing in more females. It's also possible that the protrusion aids in digging and burrowing. The name may not seem familiar to you, but you've likely seen this toad before. The Suriname toad is well known for the honeycomb-like chambers in their back, which are used to incubate their eggs. So, how? And evolutionarily, why? The mommy and daddy toad dive under the water. Mommy squirts some eggs out of her cloaca, daddy fertilizes them externally, and then presses them up against her back. The now fertilized eggs stick, and over the next few days, the skin of her back will grow around them. As for why an adaptation like this would occur, I mean, aquatic eggs are extremely vulnerable to predation. There is no better way to protect your embryos than to have them on you at all times, literally. But why in this fashion? I don't know, I think nature just likes to try new things, honestly. I think she's just a creative woman. You might be like, hey, that's the Pinocchio frog. It isn't, I promise. So here we have another unique method of child rearing.
Huh?
The mommy frogs will lay eggs normally in the moist leaf litter, and the daddies will keep watch for the next 3 to 4 weeks. When he notices movement inside of the eggs, he'll ingest them, holding them in his vocal sac. The eggs then hatch, and the tadpoles live inside of their dad until metamorphosis. And it's only going to get worse from here. Hi, I'm Paleo Emma. I wanted to film a cute little intro to this video at the pond explaining the difference between frogs and toads for the Amphibian Iceberg. And it just went terribly. I was super awkward, and this place, which is typically densely populated with frogs and toads, seemingly had none just for me. And then we got home and I found a toad in the backyard. I thought it would be cute to put it on my head. My fault, it pissed in my hair, hence the wet hair. And this isn't all piss, this is shower. I wanted to make a person-to-person hello to the like 20 people who consistently watch my videos and have done so even though I didn't make a video for a year. I posted the Biolante video and everybody who used to be here came right back, and I find that incredibly sweet and I'm incredibly appreciative.